Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well on this fine day. So, listen, the title of this is The End of Your Suffering. First of all, I just thought I'd share some things of my wisdom based on my experience, not something I've learned, but things that I've noticed. For 12 years, I've studied and studied and studied them myself and everybody else. And I start to see some things come through. So, the end of your suffering. What am I talking about here? It appears now. Remember, nothing I'm saying is true and real. It's just my version and my perception, just like you have a version and perception. And I may be able to see it or I may not, but we're both right on whatever level. And what it is we're looking for is your truth. I can speak my truth and my wisdom. And if I speak that, then my intention is that you actually find yours. So, what am I looking at here? So, different levels of consciousness. The first one is like victim mode. Now, most of us, especially everybody who's listening to this, you think you're not a victim. But here's the hands up here. You know, Sheena spent quite a lot of time in victim mode. As soon as you say, this is happening to me, boom, that's the first basic level of consciousness. And that's like an animal. Things happen to you, even if it's in your business. Now, you may be saying, but this does happen to me. This does happen to me. Listen, I did a book one time, and it's Lovers Never Leave Overnight. And I thought, oh my goodness, anybody who's getting divorced will want to see this. They'll just love this. It's going to help them. And the arguments that came back over that going, lovers do leave overnight. No, they don't. There's things already happening and we're not paying attention to them. Nothing happens to us. Not in that sense. You may argue, you may have switched off already, gone, load of nonsense. And what we have is our protection mechanism of our ego going, no, 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 it's okay, I've got this all sorted. So just watch that in mind when you're thinking that, you know, you're sort of playing small and you're thinking, this is happening to me. There's something else I want, as we go through the levels of consciousness, to help you understand. It's just a warning sign, just going, uh-oh. And I do it all the time and I just go, oh my goodness, I've just dropped right back down into victim mode. Stop that right now. Things do not happen to you. So the next level then is, this is where people have got ourselves into, you know, so even like with the program Thinking into Results with Bob Proctor there, it's like things are happening by me. I make things happen. You know, the great thing about this area here, you know, you do your visualization, you do your affirmations, and then something happens and it's great. And then it doesn't happen. And then we go back into victim mode. We sort of bounce up and down between these two areas. It's kind of funny. Now, I'm talking about myself here. Yeah. So I know I'm just not me. I'm everybody else. And so I'm hoping that this is helping to enlighten you a little bit about where you are. Sometimes, especially us with, you've got so much knowledge that actually you're like, oh, yeah, I know this, but we're not actually being the information that we know. I was that person, full of knowledge, but still going, oh, these results aren't here. So, you know, it's just, you know, something's happening to me. It's not working out for me, blah, blah, blah. And I was blaming other things instead of really taking it, understanding that I wasn't doing the work. And so when we're in that making it happen mode, that's force, that's effort, and that is taking the credit for things that really have got nothing for you to take the credit for. You know, it was going to happen. And so you take the credit for things going well. But then whenever things go crap, you go into victim mode. You go back into level one. This is happening to me. It's not my fault. We bounce up and down between there quite a bit, especially for people who are trying to do their vision boards. And if you're not getting what you want, you understand where you're literally dropping up and down from. And you may not know, because we've got 60,000 thoughts a day, and most of them you're not even aware of. And that's what we want to do with putting good information in, that it starts to disrupt that information, those belief systems, to help them come out. So, you know, I was speaking to somebody and they said that, well, you know, if I'm going to be so focused on a goal, you know, and you want me to be so focused, I can't see how changing my mind is going to help me get results. I mean, I can't control what's happening over there. So immediately Good morning, Wilson. Immediately he dropped into victim mode in that conversation straight away. And it's just like, so the two things are happening there. When somebody's trying to control all the variables, you're in the making it happen mode. And that lasts for so long. Let me tell you, when you get into your 50s, and people get into their 60s, they're so exhausted. That's why you get old, because you've been using and depleting your own energy rather than using the source energy that you are. I mean, all we see here is 0.0001%. That's science. Science tells us that. And what we are is 99.99999 whatever percent that literally you can't see. So that's the thing to, just watch your language. Whenever you speak to me, I can see your paradigm straight away. I can see what level of consciousness that you're on. And if you're just bouncing up between 1 and 2, because number 2, you're controlling all the variables. And then when things don't go your way, you're able to blame, well, I can't control an outside event. But here's the thing that we're starting to learn. As we move up in the levels of consciousness and really understand who we are, the world is not, you are not in the world is in you. You might want to, if that's the first time you've heard that, like play with that a little bit. How is that happening? I'm not going to go into the science of that now. Next level, life is happening for me. This is whenever you start to come into a little bit of serenity. And you start to calm the mind down. You see, levels 1 and 2, you're in beta brain, and it's, you've got to do all the controlling. And then that level 3, where life is happening for you, and you start to notice synchronicities because you've literally learned some things, and you're learning about life, and you're learning about who you are. And this is the real thing here, about learning about who you are. And the more that you deep dive into that, you realize you can move into the next consciousness of life is happening as me, as I am being, as I am thinking. So whatever thoughts you're playing about with, if you're going, this is never going to work out, then that's what you're being. The ask, believe, receive. The asking is your vibration to the universe, not the words that you say, because we can come from a very, very positive mindset, but actually our body be in lack. Now, I've got experience of this. This is exactly like you are me and I am you. I'm hoping that you, by me telling you this, that sort of makes you a little bit more aware, because if you're aware of something, then you can do something about it. And it's only to be done up there. It's only be done in your mind and your heart and your soul. The very soul of you will just be in joy whenever you go, they're starting to see the connection now between my life and how I'm thinking and how I'm feeling and how I am being. So that 4th level of consciousness is life is happening as me. So who are you being? And who you're being, it depends on the thoughts you're having. The ones that you can think and the ones that you don't know you're thinking, because you're busy, controlling things. Now, let me tell you, you don't just rise to 4th, this is my experience. You don't just rise to, I'm in the 4th level of consciousness, look at me, I'm so super. No, I can drop right down into victim mode straight away, no problem. And it's all different areas of our life, business, your wealth, your family, your friends, the fun you have, the personal growth, the home you have, anything, literally all those different areas of your life. You can be anywhere up and down between that range. But then I realized as well, and I won't go on to it too far, but really life is just happening. And that's whenever you start to realize, when you have the non-duality and all of that, and it's almost like it comes full circle again. Life is happening. Life is happening. But that's another level of serenity, and that's not for this conversation right now. This conversation here is to help the most of you who would be bouncing up between level 1 and 2 know that there's a 3 and knows there's a 4, but are struggling to get up and down. And it's just when you become aware of it, become aware of every single thought that you have. And what I've taught and what I taught myself and what Bob taught me was this, to have a matrix of thinking, not the matrix of the world, but a matrix of your thinking. And that you have zero standard deviation of what you want. You see, most of the time, our thought parameters are out here. You've got a standard deviation that's way out here, and you're trying to get something that's here. We've got to have our thoughts in alignment exactly with what we want and have no other thought at all that counteracts that. I've looked at science and scripture and putting the two things together. And it says, like by the time the clock strikes 3, by the time the clock strikes 12, you will have denied me 3 times. And what that means is that, you can do your affirmations in the morning and you can be that person. I'm in the being mode. I'm in level 4 consciousness because we think we're brilliant. And then as you go through your day, you're in victim consciousness because you go on, look at they said to me, look at that car, that person, he made me so angry today. That person there, they're upsetting me. Oh, I'm upset because of this, this, and this. Boom, you're spending your day in victim consciousness. You're thinking life is happening to you, but yet you started your day, life is happening as me. And I could take the mickey out of you because, I did exactly the same thing myself and couldn't even see it. So I'm hoping that this has helped you. Yes, Wilson, you say it doesn't matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Absolutely. It's not the speed, it's the quality of knowing of every single moment right here, right now. This now, do you know what I noticed last night? Just as a sideline, I'm going to finish now. But when you breathe, who's breathing you now? I always ask myself that question, who's breathing me now? But what I really noticed was we take this for granted. And this is the very presence. Behind the breath, it's not the breath, it's the presence. It's whatever is creating that is the presence. And we don't see it and we don't pay attention to it. And that is the most powerful thing that you are. Keep your eye on me. That presence that you are, the pre-sense before the senses. Be there. And then everything else comes after and it's transient. It's neither here nor there. It comes and goes. Money comes and goes. People come and go. Jobs come and go. But this presence that you are never leaves. Never leaves. This is the I am that you are. Focus on that first before you do anything. Listen, if you want to have a chat with me, I'll put my link in or just send me a message. And you know what you want. Your way isn't working. Perhaps I can help. I don't know. Let's see if this resonated with you. I'd love to know your comments. Thank you so much for being here, Wilson. It's great to have you here. And have a wonderful day. And just focus. That's all the ego is supposed to do. Just focus on where it's going. And the universe does the rest. It really does if you let it. Your suffering is when you try to do it yourself, thinking you're the be all and end all. You are, but you're not. That's the paradox. Living in the middle. Have a great day. See you soon.